Hi, my name is Amber, and I'm going to give you my cancer story abridged. For starters, I was 28 when I got diagnosed. I was freshly engaged, maybe like a couple months. I was symptomatic, just early satiety, throwing up undigested food, really bad pain that felt almost like appendicitis over here, but I didn't know it was my stomach. I was trying to figure out if it was the pancreas, what have you. Um, And then my gastroenterologist is the one who found through endoscopy and biopsy that I had cancer. My primary told me I was too young to have cancer. That's not true. I had told her when I first met her in August, after getting engaged in July of 2018, that I wanted to see a gastro and something was wrong because I was sick. On my trip across where I got engaged, and I had a hiatal hernia. It was small, and so I thought maybe it needed surgery, and she wouldn't. She tried to blame gluten, she made me do allergy tests, all sorts of stuff. Um, while that was going on, my life before cancer was me traveling a lot internationally to see my fiance who lives in Scotland. He's Scottish, so it's a true international relationship. Aside from that, I was going once a month to the clubs to dance because music is very therapeutic for me. I was also working multiple jobs. I worked seasonally for Universal Studios doing Halloween Horror Nights as one of their Jello shot nurses. I worked at the miniature golf course in City Walk as their maintenance worker. I did landscaping. I helped with the scenic artist. I did a little bit of everything. And then my evening job, I worked at the Whiny Wench over in the mall by me, and we retailed, sold wine, did wine and paint classes, and we also had a bar where we could serve alcoholic wine slushies that you could walk through the mall. And that's the jobs that I did before I got sick, and what I used to do before my whole life got turned upside down, and now I'm in my new normal. Uh, what to say? So I was diagnosed November 20th of 2018, stage 4. Immediately after that, we did my CT scans, and I had to wait over Thanksgiving to meet my surgical oncologist and my medical oncologist. They started me right away on FLOT. So December 5th was my first round. It was inpatient. It was a very excruciating first round, shocking my body. Eventually, a couple months later, they introduced Keytruda, immunotherapy. I did not have the qualifications, the microsatellites or the PDL1, so obviously insurance wasn't going to cover it, so we went the route of compassionate allowance. He told me he didn't really expect it to do anything. We were just going to do it for giggles because we were able to get the chemo for free. So we went and did that. June of 2019 rolls around, and I'm in excruciating pain in my lower right region, in the pelvis. I waited 4 days because it was the week of my birthday, and my fiance had flew in from Scotland to spend time with me, and I didn't want to be stuck in the ER, especially like with my birthday coming up. And eventually, day 4, middle of the night, I woke him up. We went to the ER, and they found out that my ovaries, which were covered in cancer because I'm stage 4 gastric, needed to come out. They were becoming necrotic. It got a torsion and it became necrotic. So they went in, they took both my ovaries, they left my uterus, and they took part of my omentum. So they essentially kind of debulked my cancer. At that point, I was still doing FLOT. So I healed up, did continue to do my FLOT, and then I was going across for a month to the UK, and I couldn't do chemo every 2 weeks while I was away. So they tried to put me on long surf for 1 month, but I was not a candidate for it. It just made me very, very sick. So we scrapped that, and I went to the UK and got a month break. came back and we started cisplatin with 5-FU. That line failed. I was just starting to get really sharp pains. I also, while I was getting that round, I became a candidate for laparoscopic HIPEC. So I went to Moffitt in Tampa. They did the first one to get a baseline. I had a PCI score of 7. They told me 6 or lower, I could do the line. I could debulk and get the gastrectomy to remove my stomach. Well, July comes along and they do the second one to do the comparison. If, my cancer was stable at that point, they would go ahead and do it. I woke up and found out that I had a PCI score of 12. I wasn't a candidate. I got discharged like 2 days later, went home, and from there on, it just went downhill. I was vomiting, my cancer markers were starting to rise in a consistent trend. The minute I saw it rise the first time in June, I told them, I think this line is not working, but they wanted a consistent trend. Eventually, I ended up so sick and so malnourished, I collapsed on the floor. I came along and in the hospital, they ended up doing a Roux-en-Y instead of giving me a J-tube, a GJ tube. I was told I was going to die. They called my parents and informed them that the surgery was just a Band-Aid and to expect me to be gone in a few months. My oncologist came into the room, I remember, and he was hand on his chin and he was just pacing back and forth, and I looked at him and I said, I know I'm underweight, I know things are really scary right now, but I'd rather die from the chemo than let this cancer eat me alive. I told him I wanted a very hard-hitting chemo. So we did FULFIRI, and from October 2020 to June 2021, we did FULFIRI, and I am now about a year later. As of right now, next month, September will be a year from when I almost died, and I'm in the process right now of taking a break from FULFIRI and revisiting KEYTRUDA because they found out that I had a mutation and I now have all the criteria for KEYTRUDA for it to actually work. So we are about to start KEYTRUDA and to see what it is going to do. I already did my baseline scans, and that's what's going on with my cancer life. It's been November 2020 will be my 3-year anniversary. They didn't think I was going to make it the first year, and I showed them. They didn't think I was going to make it the second year, and I'm still here. And I'm coming really close to year 3. I have almost no cancer visible, and that's a long way to come with having signet cell stage 4 gastric cancer. Take it one day at a time, and you decide how your story is written. Be an advocate for your own health and keep a positive mindset. And if there's something you're passionate about that brings you joy, makes you feel like in here happiness, do that thing. Me, it's music and dancing and my favorite video game in the world, and that's my happiness, and that's what keeps me going through this dark time.